out just because he was on the clock.
Exactly.
So I am out here with Will, and you run a sidewalk therapy stand, right, in
Yes.
Philadelphia. You go out all around the community and talk to people who really need help, who aren't even looking for help. Can you tell us what brought you to kind of doing this in your community and how it impacts you and why you love to do it?
Okay. So I started off as a troubled youth myself, right? Didn't have guidance, didn't have nobody to express my emotions to or my feelings and things of that nature. So I kept everything locked in. And that only built more anger and frustration in me. So I committed a crime at the age of 19, which was murder. I killed somebody, I took a person's life. And then when I was in prison, I got a chance to sit down and think and reflect on decisions I made as a young kid, and my son was born. And the same year I got arrested. And I really sat down and thought about, I said, what kind of father could I be to my son if I'm in prison for the rest of my life?
Right.
I'm saying, or I don't have the knowledge to give him that I didn't have, So I started saying, no, I'm going to change my life. I started with that notion. Let me change my life so I can be at least a good father to him.
Right.
I can't be a good father to him unless I'm a good man, right? So started doing the work on myself, and then eventually while I was in prison, I started coaching people in prison.
Okay.
Being an introvert and being a person who's really quiet and shy, my personal growth developed me into somebody else, right? So when I came from prison 10 years later, I wanted to do this work on the street. Because I know so many kids needed it, right? So I started going to the schools. I became a barber eventually.
Okay.
Learned how to cut hair, and then I started teaching my clients certain things they were dealing with: girlfriend problems, job problems, home problems, trauma, childhood traumas, things of that nature. So I started giving them advice. I started doing more research. I started studying more, and I became like a student to this knowledge of neuroscience and emotional intelligence. And then I started speaking in different city hall and different places, like different buildings. And then time went on. I started speaking all around the country, So the idea for sidewalk therapy came along when I would take my clients outside of the barbershop and talk to them that they didn't want to express certain things in front of people they wanted to say place. So my mind came sidewalk therapy.
Right.
But I didn't put it into practice until years later, which was last year, when Mental Health Awareness Month in June.
Okay.
And I was out there selling my book.
Okay.
Life at Times of Will Little and Taking Life Back. So when people was coming to buy my book, they was telling me their problems.
Right.
So I started sharing with some tools I had in the book. I said, you know what? I said, there's people that need help out here. They're not receiving the help. They don't have therapists, they don't trust therapy, or they're on a long list for therapy, right? So I can provide some assistance to myself and to see how this works. So I started going to different parts of Philadelphia and the dangerous parts of Philadelphia. North Philly, Germantown, West Philly, Southwest, South Philadelphia. And I started setting up.
Doing this exact thing.
Exact thing, right? And surprisingly, people start walking over. What is this? I need some therapy. I'm gonna sit down. And I was able to coach them through whatever they was dealing with and doing more. And then I actually teach a class on Instagram Live. My class is Life Coach Will.
Okay.
So I teach a classroom, so I have a whole community of people on here who are now learning emotional intelligence and things of that nature, who are learning now how to navigate through life and best practice, who are learning how to deal with their childhood traumas. So eventually, they start getting the tools and coming to my emotional intelligence class.
Right.
So I said, now we pay it forward. Can we go out and help assist me do this work in the community? More than me, right? So now I have a whole team out here.
I do see them in the shirts roaming around.
Right, in the shirts. How people can see, they see your shirt say sidewalk therapy. Oh, damn, what's this about? And they can inquire about it. Then they can have a seat at the table.
Okay.
And then we give these books out, these journals, that also help me and a few of my friends from across the country do traveling. We put some books together with Fortune 500 companies at first.
Okay.
We was giving out to them. When we go to doing workshops with the companies to help them scale, be more effective and efficient. I said, we need these books in our communities.
Yes.
Philadelphia and Detroit. In the urban communities where they're not getting this kind of information, right? Because I didn't have this information when I was young.
No, one of the biggest things in school is they teach you math, arithmetic, science, and social studies, but not how to deal with the heart or the brain or like society, dealing with culture and people out there. It's amazing. Now, have you had a positive, like when you started a year ago back in June, Mental Health Month, did you have a positive kind of like interaction the first time that you went out and set up the table? Was it positive, negative? What was it like?
It was overwhelmingly positive, right? Because I didn't know that many people needed help.
Okay.
And people, they need help, they don't know they need help, right? Too, right? Until they start talking to you and say, damn, well, so I asked somebody, what is challenging you? Like everything, So like now I got to compartmentalize it for them. So is it mental? Is it emotional? Is it financial? Is it spiritual? Right? And they said, well, in this area I'm this, in this area I'm that. All right, now let's focus on what is affecting you right now in this moment. So just give them that 5-minute session real quick to really dive deep into that particular problem, because I realized that one particular problem can create more problems. It's like the branches of the tree, right? So once you eliminate the root of that tree, then all the branches fall off.
Absolutely.
Right? So now helping them say, damn, I didn't even think about that.
Right.
You know, the hustle and bustle, we in the center, the heart of Philadelphia, right? Love Park. You have a family court right there.
Yep.
You have a bank over there. You have City Hall right there. You have municipal building over there. So people coming all around for services and work and help, and people are getting stressed out in the workplace.
Yep.
I mean, so some of them having cardiac arrest problems in their heart. Managing teams is hard because people are dealing with their emotions.
Yep.
So they come here and they dump it off. All right, dump it off in this box or whatever you're going. And I give you the tools you need to navigate through life and best practice. Then you can follow up with my classes on Instagram. Or if you want a personal one-on-one, then you can book your personal one-on-one of a charge. You know what I'm saying? So.
And how could they reach you if they wanted to do that?
You can reach me through my website, Will Latif Little. Latif is Latif. Will Latif Little on my website. You can find that on Facebook, Will Latif Little. You can also, on my Instagram, you can put it on Instagram. You come up, Life Coach Will. You'll find me there too as well.
Awesome. So what has been the most impactful part for you in this journey that you've been on and kind of going out into your community and helping others? What has been the most impactful part for you?
Well, the most impactful part is people embracing the information and the knowledge, and then being able to help a person out of a real troublesome situation. Like, they don't know what to do with. Like, even with the kids. Like, one kid just said to me, he was with his friend and his friend's mom coming from family court.
Right.
And I said, what is challenging y'all today? And the mother said, so many different challenges. The young guy on the side said, suicide. Right? Real low, but I heard it. You know what I'm saying? So the lady said, well, we ain't got time right now because we going. I said, well, hold up. Did you hear what he just said?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And she was like, what did he say? I said, repeat what you just said. She said, I have suicidal thoughts. I mean, so I said, this is very important that we address this right now. And she said, well, do you want to address it? He said, yeah. So the kids are willing, because the kids are not really the problem in our community. The adults are.
I mean, think about it. A long time ago, who was it, a child or an adult that told you, don't cry, it'll be okay, be a man?
Right, it was adult.
Yeah.
Adult.
So I feel like a lot of things we're taught in growing up in our communities are to isolate. 400, 500 years ago, you would have a community and you would interact every day with the people in your small town. You would all feed off of each other, house each other, work together making tools and dealing with the livestock in the community. You would see who was sick mentally or struggling or like wouldn't leave their hut, you know what I mean?
Right.
You'd be like, this person needs help, you know?
Right.
So nowadays you don't have that. You interact through a phone, you interact through a message. There is no, this is a rare instance, you know what I mean? And even at that, we have been taught and kind of cultured to keep our competition and not let our emotions out. Read the situation, understand the person in front of us and how to interact with them and not just be almost like a child about it. Just like let it all out, you know, whether you're sad or mad. Like I have neighbors, right? And I babysit for them sometimes. And I was watching the little ones yesterday, and I have a 2-year-old boy, and I asked him, his sister said he's a tattletale, he punched me, and I was like, why'd you hit your sister? And his response was just, he cried. He just cried. And I was like, oh, you having a cry right now? You need to let it out? You just let it out, you know? He cried for about a minute, and then he was done. I was like, you done? Is your, you know, your time? And we don't get that as adults. We fight that, you know what I mean? Unless you're alone in your car and there's like a song that comes on. So it's good that you're out here and it's amazing, you know? I wish, and the reason I go out and record is I wish more stuff like this was just better known about, you know what I mean? It takes going out and being, I mean, you walked over to me and it takes that interaction of finding the people out there things. You can't find this on a screen, right? So that's hard. You don't even know what to search for, right?
Exactly,
so like people, you got to come out and talk to Will and be out in the community and experience life. Like that's the whole point of why I'm out here. I want to bring people back to life.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Will.
Thank you.
Appreciate you talking to us.
All right. Likewise.
So I've never actually did this before. So what is this?
This is sidewalk therapy, where you get a chance to sit down and talk about whatever things are challenging you today. Then I take a look into these things and try to help you or assist you in how to navigate through those things.
All right. So my name is Curtis ENT, the CEO behind the scenes radio. You can Google me anywhere, all over. So I realized today that I had a friend that tried to drug me. And I sit down and I really thought about it. And they tried to drug me. And I know that God has his hand upon him. You ever heard of the chosen one?
Right.
I know that I'm the chosen one to break generational curses in my family. Here in Philadelphia, I have no family here. I'm actually from Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay.
I've been here for 15 years now. I actually started a radio station. I'm heard in 67 different countries worldwide. And I know that people envy me because I know that I'm the one.
Right.
And I've also come to realize that I cannot hang around certain people anymore.
Right.
Because they know that I'm the one, and they want to try to stop what, I don't call it God, I call it the universe. What the universe is willing to give to me because I'm open and I give so much.
Right, right.
And I know to receive everything that you want in life, you have to give a lot.
Right.
And I give my radio interviews for free. I give the music, people that send me music from all over the world, I do it for free.
Right.
And I think that a lot of people envy me for that because I have a good heart and I just do it for no reason.
One of the things I always say to my class or my students about other people, what other people think about you is none of your business.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So the key to that is don't feed into that energy of thinking about what people think about you. That's too much wasted energy.
Yes.
Right? So think about what you think about yourself.
Yes.
I mean, that's just important because it's a you versus you thing. Not you versus them or that person or this thing. It's you versus you.
Yes.
In this world, right? And you finding yourself, you saying that I'm this person and this guy that God has created for me to do a certain thing, right? You know this about yourself. Now it's more to tap into yourself even more to find out more about yourself and how to do that work effectively and efficiently.
Yes.
Right? Because even the work I do, right? It's something I would never thought about doing.
Yeah, radio. I never thought in a million years that I'd be doing radio.
So because I started learning myself, because of some tragedy I went through, I started learning myself. It made me an extrovert. I'm really an introvert. I mean, I'm not a talker. But I talk when it's necessary. So now I became a coach. I became a national speaker. I became all these things. What? Not even knowing I was going to be these things.
Kind of like Les Brown.
Yeah, exactly.
That's one of my favorite.
Right.
I've been trying to get become a part of his book club.
Right.
So how did you? Okay, so my question to you is: so how did you get into? How did you get into that? Because that's something that I want to do. Because I know that I have a powerful story.
Well, see, divine purpose, right? So when you accept and you listen, you'll find out what the universe is trying to tell you, right? What God is trying to tell you. So I was in prison for murder at 19 years old, facing the death penalty, right? At the time, my son was born. 8 months later, when I came to jail. So that's the epiphany I had for myself. Like, look, I gotta change my life because now I have a why. Before I didn't have a why. I didn't care about myself. I didn't care about myself living or being in prison.
Yes.
But now my son was born, he became my why. So now I said, in order for me to be a good father, I had to be a man.
Yes.
Man, so I started working on myself. Then eventually information started coming to me from watching TV show or listening to a radio sound. And I got in tune with that. So I was in alignment with growth and development, even though there was no books in prison that helps your personal growth, right? So just being in alignment with that, then I started what? I started learning more, so I started sharing it with other inmates. Then eventually somebody said, look, you should do a talk, right? I'm like, I don't do talk, I'm quiet, I'm shy, no. Then I had to listen to myself, like, look, no, you're chosen to do this.
Yes.
This work. And eventually I started doing more and more, and I started learning more. I started educating myself more and more and more. And then when I came home, I wanted to do that when I got home. I didn't want to go back to selling drugs. I didn't want to go back to carrying guns.
Yes.
I didn't want to that life. So I had to reinvent myself and then reintroduce myself to the world. Now I'm in alignment with what I'm supposed to be doing. Right? So that's how I got into that.
So
that's how I got into this.
So basically, just listen to the universe and what it's telling me to do.
Listen to yourself. I mean, everything you need is already in you.
Yeah.
God has created that. That's what people ask me that when I go on seminars and I go conferences all around the country, and neuroscientists and everybody else there say, how did you learn this? How did you change your life after being a criminal, drug dealer, murderer, convicted, something like that? How did you get to this point? What books you read? There was no books. Everything I need, I realized was already inside me.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's like one of the last time I was in jail. I read the ISIS papers by Dr. Chris Wilson, and after reading that book, I kind of realized that it was the reason why I couldn't hold a job down was because the type of person that I am, and this is really what I'm supposed to do. Right. So sometimes you do run into books and sometimes you don't.
Right.
But
so you align yourself with no accidents or coincidence while you're here, right? You align yourself with things. So whatever you come running into in contact with, you're aligning yourself with those things. So pay attention to who you come in contact with. Pay attention to what you see. Pay attention to what you experience, because we are a record of our experiences. Our experiences shapes our mindset. Okay. And this is your navigation system right here. The physical world is your conscious mind, subconscious mind. The spiritual world is a deeper consciousness, whereas though it shows you the how. The physical mind shows you the want, desire, or what you need, and you plan it out. But the spiritual mind will guide you to where you can be at. All right, King? And so we on Instagram too.
All right. I'm about to follow you.
Yeah, follow me on Instagram, Life Coach Will.
Okay, I'm about to.
This book is yours too as well, right?
This book is mine?
This book is yours, yeah. It's a journal, right, to help you even navigate even more. It's your one life journal for yourself. So when you go in there, it talks about financial literacy, it talks about mental health awareness, emotional intelligence, right? And it talks about relationships, basically with yourself first, and then with others, and how you build those relationships. Then there's also talk about wellness. I
would love to get you on my radio show to interview you, just to talk about what we're talking about and just talk about your story and pick your brain and really interview.
Yep.
I'm gonna hit you on Instagram.
It's
called Behind the Scene Radio.
Okay.
What's gonna say the only Behind the Scene Radio.
Okay, great, King.
Thank you.
Nice connecting with you. Yep.
Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Dawn Buckner.
Hello, Dawn. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
So one of the questions I want to ask you: what is challenging you today?
My emotions.
Your emotions?
Yes.
What emotions are challenging you? Which ones?
Just the stability of them. Just finding out how to discipline them and how to have discipline in order to live and to function.
Right. So how to manage your feelings and emotions, right?
Yes.
And what feelings are you talking about managing? You talking about the good ones, excitement, joy, and love, or are you talking about fear, anxiety, stress, grief? Which ones are you talking about?
Yeah, well, the fear and anxiety and grief, those were the ones that was kind of getting the best of me because my tools wasn't sharp about life.
Right.
I was just letting life beat me up because so many things was coming up and I didn't know how to say no or how to really navigate to really be able to take care of myself, to stand.
Right. Okay. So what are you fearing?
I was fearing myself.
Okay.
Growth.
Okay.
Really just growth.
Okay.
You know, what does it really look like realistically to grow and to have a healthy growth for myself? So that became a challenge for me because I wouldn't share with nobody. I wouldn't tell anybody what was like really going on the inside. You know, just from like childhood, it just was always just to take things on the chin. So that's how I was navigating through life, just taking it on the chin. But meanwhile, my chin kept getting weaker and weaker.
Right.
You know, so yeah, so.
So fear it's two types of fear I look at, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fear is real fear.
Mm-hmm.
The shootout that's ready to happen in the park right now. We got to get up, we got to run.
Yes.
Survival mode, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then there's fear that we create ourselves in our own mind.
Yes.
Right? So the fear that we create in our own mind is because of what? Our imagination or something in the future.
Yes.
Right? Having a negative imagination about something in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Or the fear that we have from some experience that we had from our past, that we're looking into our past and reliving those bad experiences in the past. That's creating fear for us to move on. So these emotions are paralyzing you.
Mm-hmm.
That you can't move forward, you can't grow, you can't elevate.
Yes.
So you have to get rid of creating the fear.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
Right? So you're creating the fear. It's not something that's happening right now because the past don't exist.
Yes.
The future don't exist.
Right.
All we have is now. So if you operate and living in the now, that way you can function right now and you can continue to move on and grow. To that space until you get comfortable with more practicing of functioning in the now.
Yes.
All right?
And that makes so much sense because I was paralyzed. Like it was so debilitating, you know, where you really can't really move. You think you might be going somewhere, but you really not because like you said, it's in your mind. You creating, you know, you painting the picture yourself. So that tool that you just gave me just helped to unlock. So I feel even just free just sitting here and you just sharing that with me, you know, to help me.
Face everything and rise. Fear.
Face everything and rise. Face everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
yes.
the fear you're using is false evidence appearing real.
Yes.
That's the fear you're using.
Yes, that's what I was using.
So the fear we want to use is face everything and rise.
Face everything and
so
rise.
Another thing is to eliminate fear out your mindset, right?
Yes.
And go with caution, right? Fear paralyzes you. Caution allows you to move slow.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you're taking caution. You didn't stop moving. You're still moving, but you're taking caution. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you operate in caution and not in fear.
Yes.
And then you become more confident, then you can operate in confidence.
Okay.
All right?
Yes.
Don't ever let fear paralyze you, okay?
All right. Yes.
All right, Queen.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Hey, brother, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Great. What is challenging you today?
It's a lot, really.
Okay.
It's a lot.
So let's now compartmentalize. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about the challenge?
Probably, everyday living.
Everyday living?
Yes, everyday living.
In what way? Emotional, financial?
Emotional and financial.
Okay. So what is the emotional?
Just gotta like try to think about certain things, basically, certain things going on in my life.
Right.
I mean,
So what are those things like? What negative things that your negative thoughts that you're feeling about what situation that's happening?
well, I guess my negative thoughts would be like, is I'm doing enough? If I'm doing enough.
Doing enough for yourself or others?
For myself and others.
So you can determine if you're doing enough for yourself. Are you content where you are?
Somewhat.
Somewhat?
I can be better. It can be better.
Right?
It
So
can
I
be better.
know you can be better. There's more you want to do for yourself, right?
Yes.
So just having that thought in your mind creates that reality for yourself. Say, what else I can actually ask that question? What else I can do to better myself? What part? Spiritually, mentally, emotionally, financially. All right? Because when you look at human beings, we have 4 aspects. We're physical, we're mental, we're emotional, and spiritual. And those got to be balanced. So now, in my physical life, I want to change my figure. I want to be more stronger. So I want to work out more. In my spiritual life, I probably want to meditate more. I probably want to read more of my books, and become more spiritually inclined. Understand everything else. In my financial life, I want to say, all right, how much money I got coming in, how much money going out. I'm saying how many bills I got, if I'm in debt, then how can I make it more financially stable? By creating new opportunities for myself to bring in more finances. So when we compartmentalize, we know what area in our life that we really need to work on and what's more important at the time. Prioritize. So compartmentalize, organize first, compartmentalize, then prioritize what's important right now in this moment. Understand? That make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
So that way you won't be in so much chaos. And most people are chaotic and their minds are chaos because there's so many things coming at us. And they say, well, what's troubling you? Like life. Of course, but everything in life is coming at you. But if we don't manage our own life, of course, it's going to be chaotic. Then you're going to get bombarded, then you're going to be overloaded, and then you're going to have anxiety, depression, and everything else. So what we're charged to do is manage ourselves. So you manage the 4 aspects of who you are. And a lot of people don't know who they are. And the 4 aspects of it. They know they're mental, they know they're physical, they know they're spiritual, but they ain't putting these things together. All right? So when you put them together, it's like I'm mental, I'm emotional, I'm spiritual, and I'm physical. And what areas I'm lacking in these spaces, right? That I really need to focus on. So with finances right now, it's causing you stress and depression. How can I make more money? To alleviate that particular depression right now. So let me figure that out. Another job, another career, another skill, another opportunity. That physically, what I'm doing, my health is not good. So how I'm eating. Right? So I'm eating right food. I'm staying away from certain things I put in my body. That is not healthy for me. I'm taking all these pills that may not be healthy for me because they got side effects. But what can I do with all that? Exercise, work out, meditate. So all these different things you can compartmentalize, and then you can just prioritize in that moment what I need to do for myself. To make this better, because it's a you versus you all the time.
So like the stuff you just said, how would I go about doing these things? Like how would I get the information to do these things?
Well, you get the information one in this book right here. This book right here I'm giving you, it's a journal, roadmap journal, which just talks about financial literacy. It talks about emotional intelligence. It's talking about building relationships. The first relationship you build is with yourself before you can build with anybody else. Then it talks about mental wellness, emotional wellness, physical wellness. How well you take care of your body as far as what you're eating, you exercise, you work out, things of that nature. So that's how you really get the information you need, and then there's plenty of other information.
So say this book here helped me out with certain things I'm going through, and say like I wanted to talk to somebody, or
You
hear
can read
stuff.
that, you already connected with me, so you can go on my Instagram page, Life with Coach Will. You tap into that. We have a whole class going on every day, Monday through Friday, from 7 a.m. to 9.
How much it will cost?
That'll be free.
Okay.
That'll be free. I mean, but if you want a one-on-one with me, like an hour and a half one-on-one with me, then that's a fee for that, right? That's a fee for that. So you need a session with your whole family, I mean, it's a fee for that. But other than that, the free information is on Instagram Live every morning, 7:30 to 9. Then you have the journal we can give you working that too as well. But you can always reach out to the community to get the support you need too as well.
I appreciate it.